Right, it's 5:30, so I'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is our regular meeting for the month of April. And if everyone at this time would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. If everyone would please stand and say our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, we're down to approving our agenda. We do have a couple of amendments tonight. The first one, we need to amend the agenda and add item F to award bid for insurance RFP for the fiscal years 23 and 24. I will need a motion to amend by adding this item.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Wells.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of adding the agenda item F to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. And the second item, we will need to amend the consent agenda to add an item under facilities use agreement. I have a motion by Mr. Johar, second by Ms. Barr. All in favor of amending the consent agenda to add item facilities use agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. Are there any other additions to our agenda tonight? If not, I need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Ms. Wells and a second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. And we will go down now to recognitions. Ms. Embry. She's always so cheerful.
No,
Oh, good evening, board members and Mr. Davis. I have, of course, some more outstanding students to brag on tonight. Hoping that beginning next month, I can start dragging them in here and letting you see face to face. So I'm looking forward to that. But I want to begin, if you'll go to the next screen, we had 6 4-H students. And just, I want to say kudos to our UK Extension Office and the 4-H. I can't imagine all that they do. I know what we do here, but they have so many wonderful programs for our students. So this is one of them, and it's something new that we have competed in this year. It's called the 4-H Life Smarts program, and this group of 6 students became state champions, and it's the first year that they've done the program. It was virtual. The program focuses on 5 key topic areas: consumer rights and responsibilities, the environment, health and safety, personal finance, and technology. This was the first year, as I've already said, and I want to give you all the names of those students. So starting on the left is Trace Harper. He's a 7th grader at South Middle. And then in front is Stella Reese. She's a 6th grader at North Middle. Then behind her is Slade Gardner. He's a 7th grader at South Middle, sorry. And then next to him is Cameron Creamer. He's a 7th grader at South Middle. In front is Brinley Sparks. She's a 5th grader at Longest Elementary. And then in the back, JP Short, and he's a 5th grader at Longest Elementary. So congratulations to that group. And then one other recognition I want to point out today, and he is no stranger to you all. I believe I've already recognized him just this year. He is a senior. That's James Alex Robards. Congratulations to him for recently placing 2nd in the state KHSAA Boys State Archery Tournament. So kudos to all of these students. That's all I have as far as recognitions go, but I do want to go ahead while I've got the mic and mention to you all something that I've been working on this year in collaboration with Brooke Goff with the Alchemy Collaborative. If you all remember back early fall, you voted and agreed upon having her services with us in kind of revamping, giving us a new look here at the district. And it's perfect timing leading into the strategic planning. So she's been looking at all of the logos at all of our school, and I've got some pictures if you'll go on. I thought I'd let you see. This is something, and I'm just introducing this to you all tonight, just so that you can kind of get a look at what all of the changes are that she has created. Some fabulous things that she's creating, kind of like a toolkit for each of our schools, so that when we go to, say, for instance, make a post on Facebook, we can make it look really nice. This is a clip art. We can cut and paste over there and it just looks really good. I don't know if you've noticed, I've put out a few posts here lately where she's helped me create, and it just looks really neat. So she's been doing that. She's been doing a lot of drone pictures. She's done that at all of our schools, and she's done headshots of our employees so that we have new signatures that have a picture of us and their name on it. Just some really cool stuff. And I believe maybe next month we'll have this on the agenda item, because we are wanting to move to a new logo for the school district. You know, we've got that oval that we've had for several years now, but if you'll go on, I did just a quick clip of each school. That gives you a look at what the stationery could be. Then the next one, we'll go to each school. You can just see that she took the what the mascot was and just kind of revamped it, and she's color coded it so we know exactly what color green we use at Longus and what color gold we use at Greenville Elementary. Just wanting to show you all of the things. She's been working really hard on this, and we've been meeting virtually once every 2 weeks and just trying to keep up with making changes. So hopefully next month we'll have that on the agenda. I don't know if she'll be here in person with us, but that is something that I would hope that you all would consider. Thank you all.
Thank you. All good.
And as always, we are super proud of all of our students. We love to hear these recognitions every month. So, all right, we will move down now to our treasurer's report. Mr. Lexington.
That back in. All right, let's try this. Thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. Tonight I bring you the financials as of March 31st, 2022. As we always begin with revenues. Monthly receipts were $3.896 million. The beginning balance was $33.67 million. That's down by about $1 million from the last month. Monthly receipts, again, the $3.896 million, are up about $888,000 from last month and up $905,000 for the same period last year. The big change on that one was federal is up $1.75 million. When I did the federal cash request the month prior, I did the cash request, but I forgot to email it to the state. So this is 2 months worth of federal cash requests. So that's on me. The rest of them are pretty much down. State receipts are down 225,000, taxes 500,000, food service is down 189,000, daycare 9,000. Other is up 27,000 for total securities and receipts of 37.566 million. Expenditures in March. Accounts payable was about 1.47 million. It's up about 809,000 compared to the same period last year. Significant bills in March were Time Clock Plus was 105,000. A&K Construction, which is the company we pay for with the cafeteria, is 168,000. And Old National Wealth Management, which for debt service, was $465,632. Payroll was 2.8 million. It's up 192,000 versus March of 2021. Again, it's always using federal dollars costs more money. So for total expenses, about 4.29 million. Accounts payable breakdown further, it was about 978,000 fixed mixed expenses, variable expenses were 385,000, and utilities were 110,000. Further breakdown is about 1.47 million. You will notice that there's a slight difference in versus the accounts payable versus this AP. We had something post at the very end of March, but didn't hit the bank until April 1st. So that's why there's a small, like $12, $15 variance. So just so you know, if you see that, you wonder what that is.
I noticed that.
You did? Thank you. So the general fund is about $497,000 in expenses. Fund 2 and school activity funds was $226,000. Construction, about $174,000. Debt service, again, about $466,000. Food service and daycare, $108,000. And on to the ledger balance. Ledger balance at the end of the month is 33.28 million. Bank balance 25.8. Outstanding checks 570,000 for a cash balance of 25.23. Further breakdown, just the significant variances where special revenue went down by 963,000, and that's just because we received those funds. Construction down 164,000, debt service 110,000, and food service up about 27,000. For again down about $1 million for the month of March. Extended financial picture, we expect to have about 27.5 million in the bank is August 2022. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the treasurer's report? On any motion to approve? Motion by Ms. Wells. Second by Mr. Jones. In favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll go now to payment of bills and salaries.
Chairman Rick. This month I bring you $235,693.86. Of that, about 171 is general fund. Fund 2 is 29,000. Construction about 35,000. Food service and daycare is about $336. Excuse me. The significant bills I normally don't list KU, but I just wanted you all to see kind of this roughly where our monthly KU payments are every month. And it was one of our highest bills this month. It usually is every month, but I just wanted you all to be able to see what that is. About 53,000. Kentucky State Treasurer, that's what we pay in county retirement for classified staff, about 18,546. Good piece of news that I did get today actually is our CERS rate. It's 26.85% right now. It's actually going down to 26.69%. It's less than 1%, but it's still going down instead of up, which I'm very pleased about. Mill supply, which is something for the cafeteria, was 18,415, and IMI Kentucky, which is concrete, was 16,429. Those are direct bills that we pay to get around paying taxes on those things. So a lot of times, if we pay A and K, they have to charge tax. So if we pay the vendors directly, we don't pay any sales tax on those things. So you'll see a lot of those come up in the coming months. So, any questions?
Did you say KU was up last month?
No, it's not up. It's always one of the highest bills, and I don't normally list it because there's other significant bills, but it's just this month it was a lower amount that we've been bringing to you in board bills. So it was this one of the highest bills. But I wanted to illustrate kind of where we are. And it is, our utility bills are staying down, and there have been rate increases. I got a call the other day during one of our strategic planning meetings about a rate increase And they also called me about, South Middle. And they said, well, you're not using a building. I said, no, we're not. So that's something that helped about as well.
Did these lights that we put in bring it down quite a bit?
Absolutely. It's about 20% of the electric bill, and it pulled it down about 30%. So when we see that, especially when we have rate increases, that's where I think a lot of what we do is not, it does pull it down, but we're mitigating rate increases. So, and KU tends to do that frequently. We've had 3 or 4 since I started doing this, and every time those little incremental increases, while they're small per kilowatt hour, it just, we eat it up. And so the energy savings project, I mean, it's kept things flat. A lot of times, if you can keep it flat, that's even better than just, anything else. So I'm really excited about that. Because when I don't have to budget a rate increase, and we can keep it in other areas, that's far better. Or if I could put it towards textbooks and those sorts of things instead of electricity, just keep the doors open. I think that's a better thing for our students.
Any questions on bills or salaries? If not, I need a motion to approve. Have a motion by Ms. Barr, second by Ms. Whalen. All in favor of approving payment of bills and salaries, please say aye. All opposed? Thank you. And then we'll move down to public participation. Thank you. So we'll move down now to the administrative report. The superintendent report and the personnel actions have been given to us, and the report will be placed into our minutes. So now, Mr. Davis, I'll let you give the report.
Right, thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. We'll start with the principal's reports tonight. And we'll go straight to Scott Blake, Central City.
Well, everybody, I want to welcome you to Central City Elementary Spring Fling. We are here, and I know you can't really see very well, but we have students all around doing jump houses, we've got Dunkadad going on with Central City Chief of Police Jay Lindsay. We've got parents in jail, and we have booths all around. So it was a little bit wet, but it was a great day today. So I don't have a whole lot to share because there's so much going on. But one thing, and I'm a little out of breath if you can't tell. One thing I do want to share with you is our online registration numbers. At this point, Central City Elementary has a total of 357 students. Of those 357, 273 have already registered for school for next year, including 62 kindergartners. And we only have 84 students who have not submitted their or have not began their registration yet. So we're really proud of that. We're going to work hard to make sure that we get all that taken care of here shortly. But if you'll indulge me for just a second, I'm going to flip my camera around because I want you to see the excitement that we got to experience today with all of our boys and girls. We had a lot of laughter. We had a lot of wet shoes and muddy knees and bottoms. But it was a great day. They went home wet and dirty, but the laughter and the smiles were worth every second of it. So that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. All right, Ms. Jones, Greenville.
All right. First off, want to start off with, we had a great program this morning, welcoming Remix Education to the school. First thing to get our day off to a great start at 8 o'clock this morning. Big shout out to our family resource coordinators for collaborating and getting that into our district. Kids had a great time. I also want to share with you a wonderful professional development that we had actually the week after spring break. It was led by 2 of our very own teachers, Miss Alicia Carver and Miss Allison Ramsey. We are very excited and appreciate the resource the district has provided for us with IXL. And that is something that we have really been working on learning more about and utilizing. So that was a very powerful PD that we had. The kids and the teachers are very excited about it. We are currently doing a challenge school-wide. So just again, a big thanks to our district for providing that resource. And we're seeing a lot of growth thanks to that. Got a lot of field trips going on. 5th and 4th grade had great times on their field trips. We've got 3rd and 1st grade going tomorrow. So big thanks to the bus garage for working with us on those. The kids are learning a lot and getting a lot of great experiences. So that's all I've got from Greenville Elementary.
Thanks, Stacy. I believe Alicia and Allison went to South Middle as well.
They did. I meant to say that after we had the training at Greenville, they actually went on the road and traveled to South Middle School, and the feedback from Mr. Lyle shared that feedback with us, and that was very positive as well. So that's definitely impacting all levels. So we're excited about that.
You have schools working together, and you have two teachers that are taking the lead in PD, which is leadership there. So I think that's kind of huge. Thank you, Stacy.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Browning at longest.
Mr. Davis, board members, thank you. We're having a big day here at Longest. We were also part of the remix this morning. It was awesome to get all the kids. That was our first assembly with all the kids in the gym this morning. It was a fantastic time. High energy. I don't know if the teachers liked it at 10 o'clock and sending them back to class for the rest of the day, but it was high energy, had a good message with it. And everybody enjoyed seeing me take a pie to the face, so that was good. And followed that up with a family night tonight. It was Miss Donna Gill's vision to host a family night that's centered around mental health and the community resources we have for mental health. So we had a big family night that's just wrapping up. A lot of crafts, a lot of calming activities, some yoga, and a lot of community partners here to our families. Had a huge turnout. So we're really glad for Miss Donna getting that together with our counselor, Jojo Jarvis, and our assistant principal, Sarah Armour. Really planned this night, and it worked out perfectly. And now we're going to finish up the day. I'm getting ready to head down to the gym for our spring chorus concert. So busy day here at Longest, but a really, really fun and productive day. So that's all I've got.
Thank you, Hayes. We have many principals on location tonight, as you can see. And I think the next one is as well. Mr. Sharp, agreement.
Good morning or good afternoon, board members. How are you guys today? I don't know. Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Who knows? Today we had a remix assembly for education I as well. Got a pie in the face. Luckily, Hayes sent me a text message. I knew when it was coming, so I was able to take it a little better than he did maybe. On March 14th, we had a talent show. We had one during the day and then at night, and a student of mine and a student and myself sang during the day. He did a great job. I did not do very well, but everybody clapped. So there's that. We had a art show the same night, and that was a really cool event. All students showcased their art, and we had a lot of parents here for that. March 15th, we had a school-wide egg hunt, and I made sure that the grass stayed pretty high for that. You know what I'm saying? So we could hide the eggs, and it was extraordinary.
Next.
Our kindergarten finished up ready for kindergarten this April. A big shout out to those teachers. Miss Durrell's class won the classroom attendance tournament. We had a bracket of all the homerooms, and we did to see who had the highest attendance percentage. And Miss Durrell's 5th grade class will win blizzards next week. Our graduation is May 5th at the BES gym at 6 p.m. We'll have a breakfast that morning for our students. On May 6th, we're going to have the Derby again at our school. And then May 10th will be our 4th and 5th grade academic awards. May 9th and 13th will be field days for students. May 12th will be water day for at BES. 3rd through 5th grade will be going to the Central City Pool. Tonight, you can't really hear it, but there's a lot of people here. I don't know how many yet, but we're having a Hope Again Muhlenberg concert, and Jason Crabb is here for that. So it should be a big event. I just want to give a shout out to our teachers, especially our 3rd through 5th grade teachers. They are assessment grade level teachers. They're putting in a lot of hours. They've got that Kentucky Summit of Assessment coming up, and I'm trying to encourage them, but they're the type that they're gonna worry about it. So we're excited about that. And then shout out to Ashley Romans. She's been a hard worker all year, and without her, we would not have made it through this year. And I'm very proud to have her on our staff. And then tomorrow night, we'd like to invite all you guys to come out to South Middle. Thank you so much, Mr. Lyle, for helping us change venues. But we're going to have a North-South alumni basketball game at South Middle. At 5:30, you can get a sack dinner, and then the girls and boys game will follow. $5 per shirt, and all the proceeds benefit the Energy Eagles. You can get one of these shirts. North-South alumni basketball game. Should be a fun event. And that's my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sharp. Let's go to Mr. Wells, South Elementary.
Good evening, board members. I hope you can hear me. It's a little digitized when I'm hearing you, but hopefully things are coming through clear. First off, I want to say that our Junior National Beta Club sponsored a fundraiser recently for Norton's Children's Hospital. And the club, with the help of our students, raised almost $950. Dana Matukas, an ambassador for the hospital, spoke to our club members Tuesday during their monthly meeting. And Dana did a great job praising each member for being a hero. And a check was presented to her and the hospital. We had lots of photos, and those photos were showcased on the Sun News this past week. The club's next endeavor is to sponsor the MSES Talent Show. We're bringing that back this year. And this talent show will take place after testing. And finally, the month of April is National Deaf Awareness Month. And each morning on the school news, we present a person who has profound hearing loss or who is deaf to our students. We read a short biography about that person, and we emphasize all of their life's accomplishments. And a common characteristic for each one of these folks is their willingness to try. We encourage our students to try, especially this time of year as we're wrapping up. And another thing is that each of these individuals encourage all to never give up on their dreams. And that's all we have going on right now at South Elementary.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Thank you.
Mr. Watkins is taking a class tonight, so is out on Renaissance. We don't have a report, but I will tell you we've graduated several folks from there. Beth Ellis has sent us, like every other day, it seems like, Dustin and Mr. Harson. So there's some really good things going on there. Miss Melton's doing, there's just a lot of positives there. And so he's not here to tell you that, so I'll just real quickly there. Let's move on to Miss Bumps now at the high school.
Good evening, Mr. Davis and board members. We have lots of things going on at the high schools, our high school, and many celebrations. I'll first start with our big announcements over the last couple of weeks regarding our Governor Scholar students. And I know you guys have seen that, but I still want to give these students a shout out. We had Sarah Kate Bogus, Josie Davis, Taylor Grundy, Daly Jernigan, Madison Morris, Caitlin Petrie, Hannah Rager, Caden Ray, and Jess Robinson, all selected for Governor Scholar Program. And for the Governor Scholar of the Arts, we had Rachel Joins, Ayub Shabbat, and Zoe Hobdy. And then for our Governor Scholar for Entrepreneurs, which is held at UK, I think this is the first time I've had two to be accepted. And those people are Maggie Woodruff and Blake Likens. And then I want to continue to give a shout out to Harley Baggett, and she was recognized recently for receiving the Berea Legacy Scholar. So lots of things going on there. I want to give a big shout out to Ashley Sutherland and Susie Rice to make the board members aware. Back in December, when our boys basketball team were competing in Indiana during some Christmas tournaments, the athletic directors in that particular area came together and decided they wanted to do something for our community stemming from the December 10th tornadoes. And we were quite surprised when that community up there of athletic directors and schools presented our high school with 2 to 3 different checks totaling almost $15,000. So we've been very excited, and all that is to go toward our tornado victims in our county. And just this week, we know that we had about 5 families alone at the high school who had nearly lost everything. And those ladies went to them and asked them to just come up with a needs and a wish list. And we were able to pay it forward to them. So very excited about that. We also have our decision day that Muhlenberg Achieves, Miss Lisa Green, that she oversees, and that day is coming up on May 4th. Many of our students are starting to hear about the various scholarships. I know we had some to receive Gatton scholarships to UK, so we're excited about learning that, and as our seniors get ready to transition on to the next chapter of their lives. Again, board members, as you know, that our graduation date has been set. It is May the 13th at 8 p.m. in Mustang Stadium, and should we have inclement weather, we'll hold it on the 14th. So I'll go ahead and ask you all to start praying now for nice weather, and we will continue to do the parade from the Ag Center on that evening, and very excited about that, and I think the kids are too. So we've started having some of those events. And lastly, I'll say that we have our graduation walks all scheduled. This is where our seniors will begin their tours at the elementaries they attended. Then they'll transition to their middle schools. We'll come back and eat lunch together. And then at the end, we'll go back out for a little bit on the buses and go on our tours through Greenville and then Central City. So I'm very excited about that opportunity for those kiddos. And I said lastly, but I actually have one more. I do want to give a shout out to Hannah Rager too. She competed at Rotary competition, and she did place runner up. We're very proud of Hannah. As you all know, if you've heard her speak, she is an amazing speaker. So thanks to her and her accomplishments through there at the Rotary. So Mr. Davis, no corny jokes here like Mr. Grant, but I do appreciate the opportunity to present. That's my report.
Thank you, Ms. Bumps. Yeah, brag on Hannah. She's amazing. And her dad is a great speaker. He can never stay within the time limit. So he never won, but he really could speak well. I do want to brag on the prompt a little bit and all the folks that put that together. And I made a cameo. I went over and kind of stayed my hour and kind of eased back out. But I've talked to many students, not all. You may have heard something different. But what I've heard was it went well, seemed like they were happy. It was a nice venue right there on the river. You worry about them driving to Owensboro, but they're going to drive there to eat anyway. So all the ones that I've spoken to, including several from Leadership Muhlenberg, those students yesterday, was 100% thumbs up. Seemed like it went well. And that's a lot of work and a lot of worry. We always, that next morning, I hope to get up and don't have any text, anything where you're always worried about it, an accident or something like that. So that seemed like that went well. I want to brag on them for that. Mr. Lyle is not here tonight for South Middle School, but I am going to add this. His son Camden received the Massville Community College Outstanding AIT Student Award. They just kind of found that out yesterday evening. So he's there. And he was asking what I thought and he should be there. So very proud of him, and I know Brian and Candace are as well. And we will finish up on the principal reports with Mr. Rager.
Say the best for last. All right. We're really excited at North Middle about on May 18th, they're going to start construction on the front entrance and front offices at North Middle. So after May 18th, our main entrance will be through the gym foyer. So the concession stand is going to become our new front office for, hopefully it won't go through the 120-day timeline, but if it goes the full 120 days, that means that we could be using our gym foyer entrance as our main entrance of September 15th. But we are excited about the construction starting, and hopefully it won't take too long. One thing that the students are talking about is we're having our spring fling dance tomorrow from 6 to 9. And the students are talking about getting nails done, dressing up, and it's going to be a big event. So we're really excited about that, and we're mostly excited that the students are excited. We have several things planned for Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week that's coming up. It's so nice that the kids can actually go on some end of the year trips. We have 6th grade going to Alice in Wonderland. We have 8th grade going to Bowling Green. We have Reading Rewards Day planned at Parks and Rec. I'd like to invite board members, May 12th, 8th grade graduation will be at the high school. I want to thank Ms. Bumps and appreciate her hospitality for the use of the gym so we can have air. It'll be at 6:30 on May 12th. And we're actually going to do our awards day on May 13th. And probably the most important date, and I'd like to invite the board members for lunch on May 17th about 11:30. We will have our annual fish fry, so you are more than welcome to come for our fish fry on May 17th. And that's all that's going on at North Middle.
Shout out to Jerry's dad, fish fry, by the way. He does that very well. Thank you, guys. Yes,
It's a regular day.
it is. Cafeteria, just a little update on that. Basically, they're still making progress. I believe from what we're hearing, Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like it's going to be darn near Christmas or so next year before they're fully ready to go. And obviously there's some supply chain things that that's kind of where we're at. It's going to be fantastic, but it's slow and it's, it's a little frustrating. So anything else, Eric, to add on that? Okay, testing's coming up. Tricky year to test coming off of COVID and all. And so we have a lot of stressed teachers and we're doing our best to not let the kids be stressed and not let them feel that. But it's kind of hard to know where we're going to be. We've definitely made progress. It's been a good year, but COVID definitely impacted us some. So that I won't give you times on that because actually the high school may be testing in one little window and the middle school's a different, elementary's a little bit different. But obviously we have a few weeks left, so all in the next couple of weeks that will start. Let's talk about legislation just a little bit. That session finally ended this year. I'll give you some highlights on that. The budget actually was the most education-friendly budget we've had in a while. So we're pretty pleased with that. Some of the highlights, we do have full day kindergarten funded again. If you remember, that was funded last year and then it was used again this year as a bargaining chip, basically, to get the charter school bill through. And that's a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, it was funded, so that's huge. Transportation was moved to 70% funded. What was it, 57 or so percent, Eric? So that's somewhat helpful. Seek dollars, we've been getting about 4,000 a child, some add-ons for certain children, but that's going to 4,100 next year. And then in the second year of the biennium to 4,200. That's going to mean about $1 million for Muhlenberg, according to, isn't that correct? So those are all very positive. And I don't want to gloss over that and not mention that. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that they're looking at it that way. The charter school bill, I'm not grateful for. Just not a fan of that. Basically, we don't feel public tax dollars should follow students to charter schools who don't have to follow the same rules and have the same restrictions and mandates and all that we do. That was closely passed and then vetoed and then overridden. So that may end up in court again. The last round of that was, we've had issues with that before. I won't go into that greatly, but that the politics was played there with the kindergarten and that. And anyway, we came out, at least we got the kindergarten, but we're a little worried about that. SB1 basically shifts the principal selection from site-based council to the superintendent. And so the curriculum things more to the board level. That probably won't affect us much in this county as far as the curriculum. We're on the same page there anyway. So what will happen now is the superintendent or his designee, starting July 14th is when this kicks in. They would have the final say, but you would have to collaborate with the council. And honestly, I think in this district, for the most part, with relationships like they are, I think it'll be fine. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to make the final call. And that's gone back and forth forever. And you can, quite honestly, you can make arguments on either side. I understand site-based wanted to make the call. It's their school, they're there. I understand superintendent, he would want to make the call because, I think I know what's best for the school and the candidates as well. Both can do it for the right reasons. Both groups can do it for the wrong reasons. But that's the where it's ended up. So again, on July 14th, that'll change. I don't anticipate issues here because I just think we'll work together. We always, I think we typically do. So, but I did want to kind of inform you that that is different. We're a little disappointed. We're glad we got the 5 days finally. But we're a little disappointed. We were hoping for like 5 years is what we'd asked for, holding 18, 19 numbers because for tornado impacted districts, because we have kids that have been, relocated and we have homes destroyed, and we did not get that. I think we'll be at 18, 19 again next year, the entire state. But after that, as of now, that's not going to happen. When we go back, we're looking at losing $1.2 to $1.5 million per year whenever we come off of 18, 19 numbers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about salary schedule later, but that's one of the big concerns. ESSER fund is going away. Where's TVA going to be? There's just a lot of things to consider when you go into a salary schedule. Okay, let's move on to strategic planning a little bit. Susan, you can jump in whenever you'd like, but we continue to move forward on strategic planning. Vice Chairman Wells is on our steering committee, and we're not quite there, but we continue. We keep whittling it down. What we've done is taken all the survey results, all the feedback, all the comments from so many groups, and tried to decide on what are our pillars. And we're likely to come back to like students, staff, and community. And then what are your words that go with that? So we're not there. We're probably 40%, 50%, still a little bit foggy, but we've made quite a bit of progress. I will say something I'm proud of is that we had our employment engagement survey, and that's all of our staff members had the option, classified and certified, to answer questions about their principal, about me, about the district, and about a few other things. And the results came back, and again, we learned some things that we need to do better. But we were in above the 90th percentile in the entire nation on those results. And realize too, that's our first time through. That includes districts that have taken it 4 and 5 times after you try to get better from their first results. So Dee Ashby made a big deal out of that. She said, I worked with a lot of folks and seen a lot of things. That's pretty darn unusual. So I think that speaks well to our school leadership and district leadership, and definitely things to work on. Don't get me wrong.
Percentage of people that responded.
I think we had close to 500 out of 7 something maybe. Not as high as we would like. She said higher than a lot, but we would hope there would be more. This will happen again next fall, and then probably the spring after that, and continue. And we hope that our numbers, even though they started off pretty strong, we hope they go up. We hope our participation goes up as well. The salary schedule, let's talk about it just a little bit. So we were hoping to come with the salary schedule tonight, but what we're trying to do, it's taken a lot of time, and there's been a lot of conversations about it, because what we've done in the past, unfortunately, often we've said no raise, it's over, or we've said 1% or 2% across the board. Well, this year we're looking at it differently. This year we are trying to be a little more, basically a market adjustment. Let's take a hard look at it. And Eric's been really looking at this probably 3 months or better. So I'm going to go through what we're thinking. Ultimately, you guys make the final call. But I mentioned it before, but I'm just going to say it again. As far as classified goes, what we're doing is we're taking each district, neighbors that borders us, and we're trying to get their data. Where are, let's say, bus drivers? What do they make in those districts? What do custodians make in those districts? What do, take each job classification and break it down. That's where it's slow. And we're seeing what the average is. And then we're seeing where we are in comparison to that average, because that's who we're competing with. Most likely we're going to lose someone who can drive to McLean County, drive to Butler County, drive to Todd County, Hopkins County, absolutely. So Eric has done that, and so we're working on that, trying to make sure we've not missed any categories, trying to make sure that we can match up right, because sometimes the job titles aren't exactly, the classifications, they're not worded the same way. So you got to determine, okay, when you look at Sherry's job, when you look at some other jobs here, when you look at some of the jobs in the school, like instructional aid, are they said, is that what it's called somewhere else? And if not, what really is it called there? And so we can match up fairly. In some cases, in other districts, you may have them grouped together. You may have custodians grouped with cafeteria workers. All right, we don't do that, but some may. So you got to try to figure that out. And in that case, what we've already decided we're going to do, we're going to try to err on the side. I say you guys make the final call, our proposal. We're going to err on the side of our of our employees doing better by them. So if we look at a job category and in other counties, you've got them lumped together, let's say cafeteria workers and custodians, and we are 3% below in one group, 4% below in another group, but they've lumped them together, we're going to do the 4% and propose that we raise their pay 4%. Now, what's going to happen with that, and I think it's reasonable, and I'm confident that the process is sound and the reasoning is sound, but what is going to happen is that some groups are going to get more than others. And that's why a lot of times folks don't do this, because the potential is for people to get upset and say, why? Why'd you choose them? Do you think cafeteria's worker is more valuable than? We're not doing that. We're simply using the data for surrounding districts and going from there. So that's what we're looking to do with classified folks. And again, everyone is going to move forward. Some just may move forward quite a bit more than others. So we may need a work session for this, maybe a lunch or something one day. We may not. We've been talking to you. Eric will be calling you even more, but that's kind of where we are with classified. With certified, okay, let's take a look at them. Where do we need to target changes if we're going to do targeted changes? And what we found out is basically we start off well. We start off strong. First, when you hire in, year 5, year 10, nice jumps. And it really kind of starts going down and other districts start moving past us towards the end of the career. So what we're looking at doing there is it's just how much, putting in bigger jumps at year 15, and then year 20 is a jump, making that a bigger jump, making 25 a bigger jump, and then adding a year 28, which we don't have, to try to keep folks around a little bit longer. Okay, that's tricky. How much do you jump those and you can still afford it, but it's significant enough that somebody doesn't want to go at the end of their career to Davis County or wherever, and so they can retire and make more money in retirement. So that's kind of what we're trying to do with certified. It's making the back end, raising it, because it, quite honestly, there's just not much of a jump after you get past 15 or 20 years. And again, what happens is your teachers in particular, I'll say, who are in their first 10, 12 years, there's not a huge jump there. And so they're like, I understand that's a group that's not going to get the bigger jump because they're already very competitive. So I have to I'm trying to explain that well so everybody understand our reasoning. It's not to devalue anybody. We need to make an adjustment. When you make an adjustment, that means somebody's going to move more than others. So that's kind of where we are there. We're also going to propose that everyone, I don't know, 1%, probably thereabouts, which what some other districts are doing in total. After all those adjustments, we are still going to come back and propose that there's a 1% or so across the board. So everyone in the district we're going to propose moves forward as they deserve to. We've held money back for a good while, and you look and say, all right, it's time. It is time. Are we still worried? Still worried about TVA. Still worried about losing ESSER funds because we're artificially inflated right now. We're worried about when we go back to 18-19 numbers. Having said that, that's Eric's job to do this cost analysis, cost benefit analysis. And all right, here's what it's going to cost us, and it's going to cost us a bit of money to do this. We certainly don't want to go backwards. So we can't overshoot it and then realize, oh, we put ourselves in a bind. That's what's taking us so long. That's what we're looking at again and again and again. So I think Eric's done a good job he's working on his projections now and tinkering and moving. So I don't have the specific numbers yet. We'll come back to you with that. We're also looking at maybe adding some paid holidays for folks who are like 220, 240, 260. Maybe some kind of graduated way to do that. That's a unique, we're trying to think outside the box. So we've found that we're behind in paid holidays compared to other districts. So the folks who are working year round, it's harder to get a day off. We're going to try to add some in there, either 1, 2, or 3. We're looking at that as well. And there may be something else, but that's the gist of what we're doing. And again, what do I worry about this? I worry that we're doing this responsibly. I worry that some folks are going to look at it and say, oh gosh, I'm seeing this as a good thing. We're really putting effort into it. And they're going to say, hold it, they're getting more than me. And so I've really got to try to communicate this well, probably send out an email to the staff over the next few days, just outlining this, because again, at the end of the day, I haven't put in hard numbers for you guys yet. Y'all are gonna have to approve this, so I wanna come to you in a thoughtful way. We will come to you in May with a salary schedule. But this is the process, this is the reasoning we put into this. And something else we realize as we're looking at other districts' averages, it's a bit of a moving target because some of them are giving raises as well. So I can't promise, because I'm not going to be here to make those calls moving forward, but I'm confident that, you know, Eric's definitely going to be, that we'll need to kind of continue to look over the next few years at more market adjustments, because this is not perfect. This is a nice start. This is not all encompassing, but it is kind of a rather unusual way. I don't know if it's been done like this before, but what happens is you just give a 2% raise and you're already off a little bit. This one should be getting paid more. Those gaps just keep getting bigger. So it's time to do this, and I'm excited about it. I'm hopeful we can get some fairly significant raises for folks who absolutely deserve it, and we have to get competitive. And people who come to me and say, well, hold it, Walmart's paying this, or Arby's is paying this, or whatever. Thanks, Rajiv, for putting us in a bind. But, you know, we've got to, here's what I need y'all to realize, and I need our folks to realize, we have to compare apples to apples. And when someone else, let's say a fast food restaurant, maybe pay $16 an hour, and we're not, that's not quite apples to apples, because they don't have retirement necessarily. You may be working weekends or evenings. You don't have benefits like we do, which are worth so much. So that's not an apples to apples thing, even though we may lose someone to them. That's not truly our biggest competitor. Our competitors are surrounding districts who do have exactly the same benefits, basically, who have the same retirement and all those things, the same hours. That's who we're competing with. So if you're competing with another district, if we're going up against Butler County, what's the difference in the two? It's pay and culture. So we're hoping our culture is pretty good, and we don't want to lose anybody because of that. Make sure they know we value them, but we also want to make sure our pay is there too. So that's a whole lot of stuff. I'll let Eric jump in. You ask any questions, but I really want to take a minute to outline our thinking on this. But you guys have the time to come back or text later and say, hold it, what about this or what about that? Because we've got about 4 more weeks to hammer this out. Anything, Eric?
I mean, Robbie summed it up really well. I mean, we do want to do something that's significant, and there will be some categories that do move more than others. However, we did try to err on the employee side. So where if there was a difference, you know, we bumped it to the higher level. That's something that we focused on, especially just because we don't want to come back and say, well, we increased this category, but there's another group that's in that category that should have been a little bit higher. So yeah, so the other group is going to benefit a little more, and we're fine with that. I want people to get paid what they should be paid. In the past, I do know that it was, you know, they may have just added another quarter or something like that. So we're trying to say, okay, this time we want to look at those surrounding counties and really make sure that we are competitive. And then the only other thing I would add is that, as Robbie mentioned really well, was that we are looking at all the other items that now, when funding goes away, we want to make sure we're well aware that ESSER has inflated things, and ESSER's, you know, and those dollars have also inflated everything else in the county. So I mean, I want your dollar that you get paid to go further in the community as well, because everything else costs more. So we're well aware of that. So we do want to be very mindful of our cash flow moving forward, as well as what we do have. So, you know, it does look inflated right now, but I do want to make sure that, you know, as things go up, that it doesn't spike up. You know, we don't want to do that where we do have to backtrack. And I know none of you never want to do that again, nor do I. So.
But it's time, and we're going to come to you guys with a package that's going to cost quite a bit of money. And I just, you know, hopefully in a responsible way. Again, I took a long route to tell everybody that may be listening, this is the reason, this is the thinking. We have to get competitive. It's hard to find anybody now, but you guys know that. So I'm excited about it for folks, and I look for more adjustments down the road. We have incredible people, and we need to keep them. So That concludes superintendent report.
Thank you very much. And board members, before we move down to, well, we'll go ahead and do our attendance or not report. I'll try to cut Brent off. Go ahead.
Board members, thank you. You should have the report in your packets. Just want to let you know that this report came at a unique time where actually the month 8 was wrapping up as we were preparing your packets. So didn't really have the time for our schools to get that data cleaned up. So you'll have 2 months next month. But where we're falling here, we're actually in the 9th month of the school year. Coming off the inflated numbers earlier in the year where, you saw some numbers with the QRS, things like that, kids not actually in the building, but that working out. Now these months, the 6th and 7th month, you're starting to see actual numbers there. Not exactly where we want to be, but we're working toward hopefully back where, we want to be in the mid-90 range. But you're starting to see that once we got back, starting to get past the COVID things, then you start seeing some of the other illnesses flare up that, are typically out there when kids are back together. So one thing I am excited about is, now one thing I do before I move on to the other report, just briefly, I want you to be aware, and Mr. Davis mentioned it with, as he's keeping his eye on funding, I want you to be aware in these reports, that small number I have there under each percentage of each school, those are the school enrollment numbers. And just to be, and he's aware of that. I share that with him, updates of that every day. And that's where he's able to do his planning and working with Eric. But I am pleased to say that Mr. Davis and I look at the attendance numbers on a daily basis. And here lately, it seems like the elementary schools are getting back to some of those percentages that we're pleased with, we've seen in the past. So still got some work to do in the upper divisions as we get those kids back into school. We'd sure like to see some of our kids that have gone to homeschool during this COVID period. We'd sure like to see them turn around and make a decision to return back to us. And we think we can provide a great service to them and their families. So we'd love to see them come back.
Thank you. And before we move on to the board action items, I was made aware that our screening committee for our superintendent search has been, everyone has been done except for the board member appointment. So at this time, I would like to appoint Mr. Jomar as our school board representative for our superintendent search committee. If he will. Oh. Thank you. All right. And we'll move down to our board action items. The first one is to consider college coach position at the high school for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Fox?
Thank you very much, Chairman Raker. And this particular item is an item that we've been doing now for the last several years with conjunction, or in collaboration, I should say, with the Martin Foundation. This is a position that is of no cost to the school district. This position is working through the AmeriCorps program, the Kentucky College Coach program, where we are able to find someone that is fresh out of college, and while they are able to receive some college credit hours through Northern Kentucky University, they are also able to work with some of our students with a particular focus on our first generation college students. We were unfortunately unable to find someone this last school year, and let me tell you, that person has been dearly missed. Of course, it's also hard to fill Nick Hines in his position. He was such a huge asset for our students. But again, would ask the board to consider approving this particular item, because again, it is of no cost to the district.
I have a motion by Mr. Jones. Second by Ms. Ballard, I think.
Yes.
All right. All in favor of approving the college coach position at the high school, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go down to item B now to consider approval of 3 positions for exceptional child instructors. Kinley.
I'll stand here if that's okay, since we don't have a crowd tonight. But I am requesting that we post 3 additional special education teacher positions. We've been looking very much so at the numbers for our special education students. At last official count, we had 798 students, age 3 through 21, who have an educational disability, and we've added several kids to that category since that last official count. And so in order to make special education work, you have to look at certain things, and one of that is would be caseload size and class size, and those are federal mandates to how many students can be on those caseloads. So we will need 3 additional special education teachers, more specifically 1 at Freeman, 1 at Central City, and 1 at Greenville Elementary to make that work. And those positions would be paid with special education federal funds that would not come out of general fund.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Webb. All in favor of considering the approval of 3 positions for exceptional child instructors, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? And we'll move down now to item C to consider the SFCC fiscal year 22 KET second offer.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. This is the second CATS offer. It's a technology. It's in the amount of $50,169. These are matched funds, and they help extend our technology dollars.
Any questions? I need a motion to approve. I have a motion to approve that. I have a motion by Ms. Barr, second by Mr. Jomar. All in favor considering the offer of assistance, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And item D is to consider approving resolution to conduct projects under the provisions of HB 678 for facilities.
Chairman Rager, this one, I'm really excited about this one. This one actually gives us the ability to bypass the facilities department at KDE on many, many things. So there are some things that we're still going to have to get approved by them, but
I make the motion.
I second it. But no, honestly, but this really does give us a lot more flexibility. It should expedite processes a lot. Wherein I usually have to wait and bring it to you at the board meeting, you know, and this will allow us to move forward without having to do all that.
I thought it'll be quicker about approving stuff.
I'm telling you, like, well, I mean, it would almost make the next agenda item, no,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of how that works.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Jomar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the resolution to conduct projects under the provisions of HB 678 for facilities, please say aye. All opposed?
Better not.
We'll move down now to item E to award bid for Muhlenberg North Middle School entrance security.
I'd like it reflected in the minutes that Mr. Davis made the first motion on. No, this is the award to bid for the Muhlenberg North Middle School security entrance. We had one come in for Lanham Brothers at $224,900 with the alternate of with carpeting the entire offices up there. What we didn't want to do is just do the front part of the office and then have old carpet all the way back. So that's what the alternate is, the $24,100. So we're asking that you approve those in combination for North Middle entrance.
Make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of awarding the bid to Lanham Brothers for the North Middle School entrance, please say aye. All opposed? I hear none. And now to item F to award bid for insurance RFP for the fiscal year 23-24.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. We had one bid come in, which is actually Lawton Eves. It was basically our renewal number. So in order in order to make this official, so to speak, the bid was for 2 years. It's for fiscal years 23 and 24. So we ask that you approve Law Needs Insurance for the next 2 fiscal years for insurance purposes.
Any questions?
And I will add, they've done really well in terms of being very communicating with us well. Now we meet with them quarterly about things, and they've really stepped up things. So,
No more surprises.
and we have flood insurance.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Webb. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of awarding the bid for the insurance RFP to Lawton East Insurance, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Here none. And at this time, we move now to our board consent agenda items, and this is to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, consider leave of absence request, consider field trip request, and then the addition of the facilities use ticker relays. Everyone had a chance to review this. If not, there's any questions, any motions to approve? Motion by Mr. Shepherd. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear that, and down to adjourning. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
A motion by Ms. Barr. By Ms. Webb. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear that we are adjourned. Thank you all.